Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here inside East Gymnasium at Fort Lee, as this is going to be a matchup between Ridgefield Park, the Scarlets 8-3 in the season, and the Fort Lee Bridgemen 5-6, as both teams meeting for the second time this season in Big North American volleyball play. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Long, joined alongside by Dimitri Nanis and Renee Matisich. So glad that you could join us for Fort Lee volleyball here on the Fort Lee Bridgemen athletics page on YouTube. Bridgemen are trying to snap a two-game losing streak after they've lost back-to-back matches against Cliffside Park and most recently against Riverdale. Ridgefield Park is playing their best volleyball of the season, having won 4 in a row. Their last 4 wins coming against Mahwah, Ridgefield, Dumont, and most recently against Paramus Catholic. Fort Lee is their home black. They will serve first. Ridgefield Park in their road white and red. Sarah Wong will start things off for the Bridgemen. Sienna Mackey, number 22, got it over the net for Ridgefield Park. Emma Schulman trying to win that point in the back. Borisov setting up. Back to Borisov. Pushing it back over. Good volley to start off on the opening point of set number 1. And that is hit too hard, out of bounds. And the first point will go over to Fort Lee. Fort Lee defeated Ridgefield Park in 3 sets on the road back on September 11th. In that match, Fort Lee dropped the opening set 25-22, but went on to win 25-13 and 25-17. Trying to sweep the Scarlets in the regular season. Borisov had that one tip off of the lip of the net and fall for another point. 2-0 start here for Fort Lee. Bridgemen come in second in the Big North American. Cliffside Park with their win against Fort Lee, now a perfect 4-0 in league play. Fort Lee 3-1, Ridgefield Park right behind 2-2. Bella Ploutz doing a great job of diving low. She's the libero, but looked like it was a double hit against Fort Lee. Will give Ridgefield Park their first point of set number 1, and they will now serve for the first time here this afternoon. Carly Kalala, number 2, will serve for the Scarlets. Plout could not get it up and over, and it hits into the net. It's now 2-2. So after Fort Lee started with the first 2 points, 2 in a row here for Ridgefield Park. Dug out by Wong. Long to the near side, and a runner and a cross-court winner that time, delivered by Jalen Lacey, the senior. Number 11, Lacey, who leads the team with 62 kills on the season, had 9 kills for digs against Fort Lee in the first time. There's a service error, so after a run of 3 in a row for Ridgefield Park, Fort Lee gets their 3rd point and ties the score at 3-3. Catherine Borisov, 47 kills on the season for Borisov, doing the service here. Left-hander delivers it to the back line. That will be misplayed, out of bounds, and will be a point now for Fort Lee, as the Bridgemen have taken back the lead now at 4-3. Lacey mishit it off the near side wing. Borisov jamming up a couple players in the back line, but Ridgefield Park does get it over in time. Long setting up to the near side, pushed over that time by Samantha Sun. Borisov, nice dig in the back line, but kind of collided with their teammate Plout. And Coach John Ziemba is going to call a timeout to try to talk things over with his Bridgemen, as he's feeling like he's not getting what he wanted in terms of their game plan early on. Reminder fans to support all of our proud sponsors of these Fort Lee Bridgemen athletics broadcasts this season: the William T. Birch Children's Fund, Sedona Tap House, The Finest Construction, Fort Lee Soccer Club, It's Greek to Me, the Fort Lee Education Association, the VFW of Fort Lee, Bergen Black Sox, Connect One Bank, Fort Lee Pizza, and Collective Hair Salon. For your score, with service going back over to Ridgefield Park. Again, the Scarlets are trying to go to 9-3 on the season, take down Fort Lee for the first time this year, and improve upon their 2-2 divisional mark. So there was a delay before the service. At the net, Sun had fought for it, won the possession. Shulman now tipping it over, and that eventually finds its way trickling down for the point. Emma Shulman, number 16, the senior, who has 56 kills on the season to lead the way for the Bridgemen. Had 7 kills in the first matchup. Gives her team back the lead at 5-4. Bella Ploud is serving here. She'll score that dig as Fort Lee trying to win it back. Rachel Magalhaes, the libero in red for Ridgefield Park, dug that one out in the back line. And that cross-court winner falls for a win, and a point there on that far side. Great placement by Sonia Yurchenko. Yurchenko, the junior, just got it inbounds in the back right corner. And Fort Lee will tie their largest lead of the opening set at 6-4. Ploud with the service. Running kind of loft shot there near the front of the net. Blocked in front, but Fort Lee does get it up and over. Lacey gets that block, ricocheted, and falls inside for a point right in front of the net. 6-5 lead for Fort Lee after Ridgefield Park scores back a winner. In front of the net, pushed over by Olivia Kim. Yurchenko. Back to her. Got deflected, but up and over the net for the point. Yurchenko has found success on that left wing a couple of times. She was set up there by Sarah Wong. Wong leads Fort Lee with 140 assists on the season coming into play today. 7-5 lead for the Bridgemen. And there's a service ace down the line. Samantha Sun with her 8th ace of the season. Largest lead now for Fort Lee. Eight 8-5 advantage. Ridgefield Park trying to get it up and over. They do. Now Fort Lee setting up Yurchenko with a two-hand push. Deflected in front of the net. Saved by Fort Lee. Inside that time, it's Olivia Kim getting it over. Good volley between the both sides. Borisov setting it up. Wong. Kim gets that deflected a couple times, and Fort Lee has garnered the momentum now. They've gone on a run. It's a 9-5 advantage for the Bridgemen. 9-5 in set number 1. As Ridgefield Park trying to stop the bleeding here a bit. Fort Lee trying to increase upon their lead, double up the Scarlets as they lead 9-5. Along the near side, Plout ranges over. Great dig on the back line. Yurchenko. Dug out there by Magalhaes. That goes wide. No, they're going to say just inbounds, and that's going to be a point for Ridgefield Park to give the Scarlets back the service and stop that prolonged run for Fort Lee. It's a 9-6 advantage. Jalen Lacey serving. Kim in front. Dug out in front of the net by Kalala. There's Kalala, the fadeaway shot too long. Point over for Fort Lee as the Bridgmen lead by 4, 10-6. Into the match for the first time is Luna Sugahara, who will be serving the junior. Lout popped up. Borisov from the far wing. Ridgefield Park tried to catch Fort Lee by surprise in front. They were anticipating that dump over move. That time, shifty move by Sarah Wong. Long volley here by both teams. Borisov, but was denied entry that time. Galhez was doing great in front. Pinballed around, and it's going to be eventually the point secured by Ridgefield Park. Again, Fort Lee comes home here trying to snap a 2-match losing skid after the last 2 on the road. In front, tip shot, parried away. Lofted over. Fort Lee looking to increase upon their 3-point advantage. Ridgefield Park doing a good job. Clout gets it over. And they're going to say it's a violation against Fort Lee. They might have crossed over the midcourt stripe, but it was Sarah Wong trying to win back the point in front of the net. So back-to-back points now for Ridgefield Park have cut that 4-point deficit in half to 10-8. Heavy service there. And it still worked out nicely for Fort Lee. Ranging down low was Sydney Kim. And Kim then got the cross-court winner on the far side after Ridgefield Park was hoping it was going to venture its way out of bounds on the wide side. So it's an 11-8 lead for Fort Lee here in set number 1. Jammed a couple of Scarlet players there. Can they get it over? They just do. Borisov. That's mishit into the net. Sienna Mackey tried to win that one to the far side. Knocked it into the net, so back again it goes to a 4-point advantage for Fort Lee. 12-8. Misplay there by Fort Lee into the net. Service error, it's now 12-9. Shulman deposits it. Another point, another kill for Emma Shulman. 13-9 lead for Fort Lee. They're trying to stretch their advantage to their largest of the day. Currently, it is a 4-point advantage. Wong was the one doing the service. Lout to Wong to Shulman. Dug out of the back line that time by Juliana Vargas. And that one goes too long. It's going to be a point here for Fort Lee. Bridgman in front, 14-9. Little touch shot there. Goes back to Plout. Plout will send it over to the near side. Samantha Sun, who got it over. Ridgefield Park trying to stay within striking distance here. Fort Lee starting to get some separation, and it continues right in front of the net. Shulman is dominating, and it's now a 15-9 advantage. And a timeout's going to be taken on the floor here by Ridgefield Park as they want to talk things over. Now Fort Lee has extended their lead to 6 here in this opening set. Again, a big thank you to all of our proud sponsors of Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. William T. Birch Children's Fund, Sedona Tap House, The Finest Construction, Fort Lee Soccer Club, It's Greek to Me, the Fort Lee Education Association, the VFW of Fort Lee, Bergen Black Sox, Connect One Bank, Fort Lee Pizza, and Collective Hair Salon. Out of the timeout, 15-9 advantage here in set number one for Fort Lee. They're 10 points away from capturing the opening set. And they're starting to grow in confidence and the momentum clearly on their side. It's 16-9 lead. Still continued service here for Sarah Wong. Borisov, the left-hander, finds it right in front of that back line. Kind of just windmilled her arm, and Fort Lee is on a sustained run. Again, in the opening matchup of the year back on September 11th, the Scarlets actually surprised Fort Lee by winning the opening set, but then Fort Lee took advantage of two dominant following sets to win in three. They started to get their act together here and have a commanding 17-9 lead, and it will continue on 18-9. Fort Lee has doubled up Ridgefield Park right now. Everything is going their way in front of the net. That time it's served into the net. That stops the long momentum run here for Fort Lee, but they're comfortably in front, 18-10. Ridgefield Park needs to go on a sustained run of their own to get back in this one. And that time, that drop shot just a little too far outside, and that'll go for a point. Back-to-back points now for Ridgefield Park. (18 to 11). Shulman again. Ridgefield Park has no answers right now for number 16 in black. She has been dynamic in front of the net. Whether she would wind up and kind of generate a spike or sometimes just the accuracy, no hesitation. She knows exactly where she's going with it. Blout's been manning the back line. Yurchenko. Borisov. Wong off to the near side to Sun, and Sun had that one blocked right back at her by Lacey. They turn it around. Actually, it's an overrule. They're saying that the point goes over to Fort Lee. Might have been a case of crossing the midcourt stripe. We saw one of those go against the Bridgman earlier in the opening set. Now that goes against Ridgefield Park. Fort Lee leading 20-11, 5 points away from tracking down the opening set victory. Shulman mistimed her jump that time after she was trying to get a quick hitter going to the left side. (20-12), the lead for Fort Lee here at home. Service error into the net by Ridgefield Park. 21-12 lead for Fort Lee. Richmond 4-2 in 6 matches here at home this season. That shot going too long for Ridgefield Park. Now 22-12 lead for Fort Lee. Largest lead of the opening set now at double digits. And a timeout's going to be taken here with Fort Lee in front, trying to take home the first set. Out of the timeout, 22-12. Fort Lee trying to close in on that opening set. They were dominant in the middle stages of this opening set to really carve out some breathing room. It was close early on. Kim, good diving effort in the back line, but again, Ridgefield Park not able to get any elevation underneath. Leads to the point, 23-12. Lout, low lining serve. Scarlets do get the cross-court winner that time. Nice location on that shot by Jillian Dulch, number 20. Fort Lee trying to save it in front. Little tap attempt, and that's going to be a point, I think, for Fort Lee. Went touching over the net as it was already on the other side. So now it's set point here for Fort Lee. (24-14) the official score right now. So officially it's 24-13. They wanted to get that correct. 24-13. Set points here for the Bridgemen. Here's a second chance as it was saved right into the net. And there it is. Violation, a double hit against Ridgefield Park gives Fort Lee the opening set at 25-13. So they take set number one. They are one set away from sweeping away Ridgefield Park in the regular season, as Fort Lee trying to get back to 500 on the year if they could win here today. So again, Fort Lee takes that opening set 25-13. We'll be back for the start of set number two as you're watching all the action here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Welcome back inside East Gymnasium as we're getting away for the start of set number 2. Fort Lee won set number 1, 25-13. It was a good back and forth early on in the first set. Each team held early 2-point advantages, but then Fort Lee went on a sustained run, and Ridgefield Park really could never catch their breath after that. So the last 3 sets that these two sides have played, dating back to that opening matchup on September 11th. Fort Lee has won 25-13, 25-17, and now 25-13 here today. Lala now serving to start things off. Teams flipping the sides. And Shulman, quick dump move. And again, Ridgefield Park has just not been able to stop Shulman in front of the net. Just quick turn and fire, and Shulman scores the opening winner for set number 2 for Fort Lee. You take a 1-0 lead. Wong serving. Hard play there by Alexandra Paul, number 14 of Ridgefield Park. Kalala got to it. There's Lacey. Hits it into the top of the net. Back-to-back points now for Fort Lee. They take an early 2-0 lead, just as they did to start off set number 1. Wong serving. Dug out underneath there by Mackey. Lacey. Too long of that attempt. 3-0 lead for Fort Lee. Lacey was trying to go for that cross-court winner. Ridgefield Park gets it over in time. Mongle Hayes was the one who did it. That gets blocked on the side of the net of Ridgefield Park, so it is a 4-0 spurt for Fort Lee to begin this second set. Fort Lee wins this second set. They will win the match. Miss hit into the net. 5-0 lead now for Fort Lee. Sofia Garcia was the one closest to it, tried to get it over. Garcia, who leads the team in assists on the season. That time, service hit into the net. That'll give Ridgefield Park their first point of this second set. They trail by 4, 5-1. So a great start to the second set for Coach John Ziemba's Bridgman. Coach Ziemba has led the Bridgman to the 2021 North 2 Group 2 Sectional Championship, also 4 straight league titles. Clout pushes it over. And that's going to be a point for Fort Lee. Violation against Ridgefield Park. With the lift, and now it is a 6-1 margin. Lacey gets it over. Wong setting up Shulman. Shulman again, another kill. Emma Shulman has been dominant in front of the net here today for Fort Lee. And there's going to be a timeout taken by Ridgefield Park. 7-1 lead for Fort Lee right out of the gates of set number 2. As they try to take home this victory, which would be their 6th of the season and 2nd against Ridgefield Park this year. Again, a special thank you to all of our proud sponsors this year of our broadcast coverage of Fort Lee Bridgman Athletics: William T. Birch Children's Fund, Sedona Tap House, The Finest Construction, Fort Lee Soccer Club, It's Greek to Me, the Fort Lee Education Association, the VFW of Fort Lee, Bergen Black Sox, Connect One Bank, Fort Lee Pizza, and Collective Hair Salon. Fort Lee will be hitting the road for the majority of their next contests. They will next be scheduled to be back at home on October 24th against Cliffside Park. They'll be traveling to Leonia tomorrow in their next match. Then they'll travel to Dwight Morrow and Dumont, Garfield, Memorial, Passaic Valley, and Ramapo. Again, only 2 more home matches remain in the regular season. Next one coming late in the month. Lacey got it blocked, but it had tipped off of Schulman right in front of the net and just precariously fell down to the deck. So a much needed point there for the Scarlets. 7-2, their deficit against Fort Lee. Alexandra Paul serving. Yurchenko has that tip into the top lip and fall down. It kind of disrupted the timing of Jillian Dolch as well. 8-2 for Fort Lee. Again, Ridgefield Park has won 4 in a row. Their last loss came against Cliffside Park, 2-0 on September 16th. Since then, they've won their last 4 in a row. Great hustle there by Plout. And it eventually leads to the point for the Bridgemen. Unbelievable hustle by the libero from the back line. Full-on dive forward to save that possession. She will now serve. Plout with a low-lining serve. Miss-hit that time in the back line. Leads to the point for Ridgefield Park. Three losses this season for Ridgefield Park have come against Lodi, Fort Lee, and Cliffside Park as well. And that's a service ace. That time by Jalen Lacey. Back-to-back points for the Scarlets have pulled them back to within 5 at 9-4. So now a whistle here as it looks like there's disruption going on with some of the students here for Fort Lee in the gym right when Ridgefield Park was going to serve. And the referees stopped the match and looks like a fan has been ejected from the match. Obviously, again, you don't want to have anything that's bad sportsmanship here and sounds being made before service can happen. So now after that, we'll resume the action, 9-4 with Ridgefield Park serving, trailing by 5. Good hustle play, the near side for Ridgefield Park, but they shot it too long down the far side. 10-4 advantage now for the Bridgemen. Sun will serve. Diving play being made to get it back over for Fort Lee. Borisov backtracking. Wong setting it up. Yurchenko got it stuffed right back into her. Good net front presence that time by Ridgefield Park, and the Scarlets have pulled back to within 5 at 10-5 after Jillian Dolch, the senior, made the stop in front of the net. Dolch mishits that one into the net. 11-5. Fort Lee jumped out to an early advantage here in the second set. Trying to continue that early momentum and build their lead. They took full advantage in the middle of the first set that really made this lopsided. Miss hit that time, trying to get it back over. Ridgefield Park trying to put up more of a fight. (11-6). Sofia Garcia with a left-handed serve. Borisov. Scarlet's trying to build a little momentum here. Cross court. And the official on the chair is saying point for Fort Lee. On the floor, they have representatives really from both JV teams that have to hold the flags. And girl on the near side who was from Ridgefield Park was calling off a point, and the chair official immediately overruled her and said, nope, point for Fort Lee. Borisov with a leaning floater. 12-6 advantage. Fort Lee doubling up Ridgefield Park here in set number 2. Fort Lee takes home the set. They take home the match, and another point there scored by Emma Schulman. Schulman has been so adept at that quick maneuver, and Ridgefield Park has just never taken away that hook shot finish for her. 13-6. This is kind of where the opening set got away from Ridgefield Park, around the same portion of the match. Nice play there in the back line. Ridgefield Park trying to keep it going, but they just couldn't get it up and over the net. Juliana Vargas, great reactionary move with her left hand. Kept it in play, but then her teammates just couldn't get to it in time. Good hustle by everybody, but another point here for Fort Lee. Richmond lead 14-6 in set number 2, trying to take home a straight set victory. (14-6) advantage for Fort Lee. Ridgefield Park trying to create a bit of a push here in the second set to try to push this to a potential third and decisive set. Fort Lee trying to take care of business at home and get to 6-6 on the season. Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis, Renee Matisich, glad that he could join us here for Fort Lee Athletics on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Out of the timeout, Ridgefield Park knocks it too far to the far side, out of bounds. 15-6 lead now for Fort Lee. They won opening set 25-13. Along to the far side wing, a little bit of a drop shot. Schulman didn't get to the hook shot that time, tried to play to the far side. And another point in the violation against Ridgefield Park. They've had a couple of those mental miscues on double hits and lifts, and that has afforded extra points now for Fort Lee. They lead by 10, 16-6, trying to pull away here. Long setting it up to Schulman inside. There's Schulman's again, that quick little turn and hook. She lurks in front of the net and quickly just turns and fires to the left side. She did it to the right side in the opening set. That time service a little too long for Fort Lee. 17-7. Ridgefield Park will serve, down by 10 here in the second set. Galala doing the service. There's Shulman again. Unbelievable. It's indefensible here today. And if it's not getting stopped, it's smart that Emma just continues to do it. Shulman just with the quick twitch, just quickly gets to it and then deposits it right at the feet of a couple of the Scarlet players in the front. 18-7. Running play, and that ends up as a kill. Nice play there by Lacey of Ridgefield Park. Lacey again had 9 kills total in the first meeting in 3 sets. Fort Lee has been so good all match long of not allowing Ridgefield Park to garner any type of momentum and sustained offensive runs. Plout in the back line. Dug it out, Borisov. Drop shot. In between 2 different defenders at the net. Borisov gets the point. 19-8 lead for Fort Lee. Borisov will now serve. Sun. So another violation committed by Ridgefield Park. Leads to another point here for Fort Lee. The Bridgemen are 5 points away from winning in 2 sets. It's now a 20-8 advantage. Dug out of the back line by Wong. Yurchenko. Galala got to it. And blocked away and blocked back on the Ridgefield Park side. Fort Lee using its height in front of the net that time to deny another chance for Lacey, who twice was blocked away. (21-8). Bridgman on top. That time, Dolch found some separation, scored the winner. 21-9, the deficit facing Ridgefield Park. Fort Lee again won 25-13 in set 1. Shulman, yet another kill to her match total. Emma Shulman came in with 56 kills on the season. She had 7 kills in the last match against Riverdale. She has surpassed that total here today. 22-9. Plout serving it to her fellow libero. Nagelhays doing a good job of returning that one. Miscommunication in the back line leads to the point. Fort Lee 2 points away. 23-9. Borisov, Wong, played over to the near side and another point. Jenny Lee, number 8, getting into the fun here for Fort Lee, and we're at match point, 24-9. Bridgman looking to secure the win. That goes a little too long that time, and will fall for a point for Ridgefield Park, 24-10. Lacey serves. Again, Fort Lee looking for the win. Lee gets it over. Garcia had called for it. Plout up top. Kim blocked at the net. Long just pushing it forward. Good volley here. Borisov at the back line. Sun still looking for that elusive last point. Good volley for both sides. Lee, diving effort there by the Scarlets to stave off elimination. Plout with a nice play as well. The oohs and ahs from the faithful here in East Gymnasium. Plout tries to save it to Borisov. Fort Lee just can't track it down. And a hard-earned point there for Ridgefield Park has kept them alive for at least another point in the second set. (24-11). That was great volleyball before. Double hit against Fort Lee. Scarlets starting to put up nice resistance here when they're down to match point. And that will be too long, and that will go out. We had to wait for the official call, but 25-12 is the final score in set number 2. So Fort Lee is victorious here in 2 sets today. Fort Lee won 25-13 in the first set, 25-12 in set number 2. With the win, that will snap a 2-match losing skid for the Bridgemen as they will go to 6-6 on the season. Ridgefield Park will have their 4-match win streak snapped here. It'll be a league win again for Fort Lee that will go to 4-1 in divisional play, and Ridgefield Park will fall to 2-3 in league contests. So that'll do it for our broadcast coverage here of Fort Lee Bridgemen volleyball action on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. I'd like to thank again our proud sponsors for their continued support of these broadcasts. William T. Birch Children's Fund, Sedona Tap House, Finest Construction, Fort Lee Soccer Club, It's Greek to Me, the Fort Lee Education Association, the VFW of Fort Lee, Bergen Black Sox, Connect One Bank, Fort Lee Pizza, and Collective Hair Salon. So for Renee Matisich and Dimitri Nanis, I'm Dan Long saying so long and thanks for watching Fort Lee Volleyball here on YouTube. Take care, everybody.